Okay. This is gonna hurt saying this for the first time. Hi, it's X Step Milky, and welcome to Crying in My Car, episode 1. I don't even know how to start. So I'm an addict. When I was 19 years old, I was on an $800 a day addiction, and I've been clean and sober since 2018 and 2016. Stopped drinking in 2018. Stopped I was on oxys back in the day. That's really gonna age me. And I just got dumped, and it's one of the hardest things that I've had to go through recently. And I have to preface this with, he has dumped me before. He suffers from PTSD, and so maybe about once a year he will spiral. And he pushes everyone away from him. And he has this impeding sense of doom, which I just found out was a disorder. So I've been trying to educate myself on that. So this has happened before, but this feels more, this is the end, and that hurts. So he's had his impeding sense of doom. For a few weeks, which is normal. He went away on his yearly boys golf trip, and he calls me on the way back. And it doesn't even sound like him on the phone. And he says, "I'm not in love with you anymore. My feelings for you have changed." You don't exercise, and you smoke too much. Which, he's not wrong. But you knew that. When you met me, and it's something I'm very open and honest with. My body has always been a source of stress for me. I was raised to hate my body. And I never felt comfortable in my body. I People would always use my body to hurt my feelings. And so whenever I get into a relationship, I say my body is off the table for discussion. I've been 120 pounds. I've been 200 pounds. I don't like to exercise. I've always felt uncomfortable exercising. I don't like bouncing. My chest is heavy. I don't like being in the gym. I like bike riding. I like swimming. Being a gym bro is not my thing. And yes, I smoke too much. But like that, he always said with his first wife that she never gave him a chance to fight for things. And that if we were going to break up, that at least give him the chance to change things, to make things right. And I feel like he didn't give me that same opportunity. Like, if you had that much of an issue with my smoking, talk to me about it. I always didn't smoke around him. And I've cut back. I've changed my smoking methods so he wouldn't smell it. And he has always said that it doesn't bother him and that I could even smoke inside the house and everything. And I don't. I go outside. I make sure he doesn't see me smoking. So the last couple weeks have been processing and going through all the feelings with that. And I saw him yesterday, and it was awful. I didn't recognize him. Oh, man. I'm worried about him. I don't know what to do at this point. I'm tired of listening to myself. I'm tired of crying to my therapist. So I'm just going to try and work on my body and love my body, because at the end of the day, it's the only thing that I have that's been keeping me alive. My brain definitely hasn't been trying to keep me alive. So I've spent years working on my mental health and a shocking amount of money on rehab. And I've never put the same effort into my body. And I never want my body to be an excuse for me not being lovable anymore. So I'm going to try and record it and document it to feel like I'm accountable to something, because I know if I just do it on my own, I won't do it. So yeah, we're gonna go for a hike today with the Poochies, and we'll see if we can get a sweat on. I hate sweating. And we're gonna put some time into loving this body. And I hope you come along with me. Good doggies. Okay, back from hike number 1. I'm a little sweaty, so I think that counts as exercise. Oh, I don't want to go home. He's been my home for so long, and it doesn't feel the same anymore. Why this has been so hard too is this has been like the healthiest, best relationship I've ever been in. He is an addict in recovery as well. And our recovery paths are completely different. He went the AA route and has like an amazing support system. And NA never worked for me. It wasn't, me and other addicts in their addiction are not a good combination. So that's never been a healthy place for me because I was never healthy. And actually, rehab was not a healthy place for me when I was in my addiction and I didn't want help. When you're in your addiction and you want help is the time to go. When you're an addict, it's just, quite frankly, a better place to score, to find hookups. So I think that's been an issue, our recovery paths, but again, it's always been something, that was gross, that I bring up constantly to like check in with, like how does my smoking affect you? Is there anything that I can do to change? Things like that. So that was a really hard one when we broke up. was that we didn't have more communication about how he was feeling. And I am further away from my addiction than he is, which I always really I don't know what the right word is, was grateful about my addiction, is that alcohol is everywhere. It's so easy to get. You can go to the store and get it right now. Where, sorry, it cut me off, the memory card was full. Is it not focusing? Oh no. So I have fail safes for preventing my addiction, where one, I can't get anything from the pharmacy without at least 4 signatures, them threatening me with the police. Yeah, I was addicted to oxys a decade ago, more than a decade ago. If I was an addict today, I wouldn't last a day. The fentanyl is insane. It used to be that like oxy was like the hardest stuff that you could get, and like maybe morphine, and you had to know someone dying with cancer in order to get fentanyl. Like they weren't trying to kill us. Back then, I would not last a day. And the third is that I don't have access to large amounts of money, and I have to have a phone call 2 days apart in order to access permission to buy things, essentially. So I think me being further away from my addiction and his being so in his face was maybe an issue in our relationship. But when it came to the end of it, and he said, "You don't exercise, you smoke too much," like I tried reasoning with him. I'll exercise, I'll quit smoking, and it just didn't matter. So I think I don't think there's any coming back from this one. It's done. The only thing that we'd really like argue about in our relationship too is who has it harder, men or women. And we've always, that's been a number one topic where the most seriously that I ever thought about breaking up with him was like, I can't date someone that's so sexist. It can't, like, mentally I can't allow myself to date someone that's so sexist. And so when it came down to the end of it, and I'm like rationing with him. I love you. I love your family. I love your kids. I'll exercise. I'll quit smoking. One of the big ones was you're too left. Which I have to completely separate myself from politics, from the news, and it's a decision I had to make years and years ago, because if I don't separate myself, I'll just consume myself with it, and I'll just get obsessed with it, and it just... When you start looking into things like that, it just leads to unhappiness. The same with like true crime podcasts and true crime documentaries. I had to stop watching it because it puts me in such a horrible mindset. So when he was like, you're too left for me, you think women should vote. And I'm like, what? I don't think women should vote. I was drinking his Kool-Aid. And I don't, maybe now it's a big indicator that I've lost myself. So I guess this is also like a rediscovering myself. Oh, you okay? So I'm hoping you'll join me on this journey of giving love and gratitude to my body for the first time in my life. Learning to love it instead of just being like, okay. And I want to be happy. I want to be happy. So let's see what we can do.